Hi everybody, I'm Kimberly Turner from cookingwithkimberly.com, and today I'm going to show you a really great stuffing recipe. This is going to be for a holiday bird. I'm doing a turkey today, and this is how to make Haskap apple bread poultry stuffing. Now I'm going to start off with, I have about 10 slices of bread. If you have 12, go ahead and use 12. I have my oven preheating to 300 degrees, and I'm just going to slice these guys into little chunks, and I'm going to toast them up in the oven on a cookie sheet. So maybe an inch by an inch. I like the bread to be somewhat dry when I put it in because I'm going to moisten it with some extra flavor. Also, it's going to be soaking up the juices of my bird, whatever kind of bird that you're using, whether it's a duck or a goose or a pheasant or a turkey or even a big chicken. It's up to you, but it's going to soak up those juices, and I want it to be a little bit toasted so it's not just soggy dressing. That's not good. You want a nice moist dressing, but not soggy and wet and clumpy, okay? Day-old bread works very well. I just don't happen to have any around. I have just fresh, so we're going to kind of make it day-old, right? Now I have about a 17-pound turkey today. I did maybe a 10-pounder the other day and used just under a half a loaf of bread. So I'm using probably 3/4 of a loaf of bread right now. You could probably maybe even get away with a whole loaf. To me, there never seems to be enough stuffing. What would my mom do? She would toss these with a little bit of poultry seasoning. Why not? Get the flavors already started. So toss that bread up. Make sure it's all spread out. And I'm going to toast that in the oven until, you know, they've dried out a little bit and they're a little bit, you know, toasted, a little bit brown, a little bit golden. All right? In it goes. In a few minutes, I'm going to turn them around so that everything gets evenly dried out and toasted. So just as the name suggests, I'm using Haskap berries and I'm using apple. I have some nice Granny Smith apple that I have on a tree of mine, and I've got these beautiful dried Haskap berries, and they come from Haskapa. If you haven't seen my review on this, on these guys, make sure you do so. Now these are, they like little raisins, right? That's what they look like, but they are intense. They're like, the flavor of cross between a raisin and maybe a dried cranberry. They're nice and tangy. Now here's what the package looks like, and you can check out more information about them online at haskapa.com. Awesome stuff. They have juice, they've got chutney and jam and all kinds of things. But today I'm using these dried berries because they're going to rehydrate with this fantastic holiday turkey that I'm doing. Now, this turkey is a free-range turkey. Make sure you check out my review on that. It's going to be pretty awesome. But we're going to stuff it with this and combine it with the apple. The sweetness of the apple is going to be so beautiful. These guys, when they're dried, they're actually a little more tangy than you'd even think they would be. They're nice and tangy. So good. If you haven't seen a whole a raw Haskap berry, like not dried, right off the plant, it looks like an elongated blueberry, okay? It's frosty blue outer coating and really deep crimson flesh. The juice in every product I've tried has been absolutely phenomenal. So delicious. Great in your cranberry sauce, and it's going to be perfect in today's stuffing. A little bit of crunch with the celery, a little bit of sweetness and earthiness from the carrot. It's going to be great, okay? So I'm going to start off by just chopping some celery into nice fine dice. I don't want big pieces of celery. I want nice little chunks. Now, if you want to add onion or garlic to this, go right ahead. I'm not doing so tonight. Not everyone enjoys onion and garlic over here, so we're going to appeal to the masses tonight. Of course, you have to have your stuffing ready before you're ready to prepare the outside of the bird for roasting. So the first thing you have to do is the stuffing. Now, I'm leaving the skin on this carrot because there's no need to peel it off. No one's really going to see it. It's going to be a fine dice of it, so we're all good. And there's lots of nutrition in there. Try and keep them about the same size, the celery and the carrots. So I have about a half a cup of celery and a half a cup of carrots, and this is how fine a dice I'm talking about, okay? So into a frying pan on my stove top, we're going to soften these up a little bit, the carrots and the celery, in some butter. That's maybe 2 tablespoons of butter that I'm using. It's going to also be all mixed in throughout the bread. What's better than bread and butter, right? So into my pan, goes my veggies. And we're going to soften these guys up a little bit. little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Now I like things a little bit spicy, so instead of adding cayenne pepper or chili powder tonight, I'm adding a little bit of smoked paprika, maybe a half a teaspoon. Let's check on this bread. Smells delicious. We're gonna just toss it, make sure that every part gets toasted well. Still a little bit moist inside. They have to go a little bit longer, maybe at least double that time. In the meantime, I'm gonna go pick some fresh herbs out of my garden. We'll get some parsley. Now I'm gonna mince up my parsley. That's gonna be added to my stuffing mixture, but not to my pan. And I'm not going to put my apples in there either. This turkey is gonna go for a good 5-6 hours. So my apple will definitely tenderize up in the stuffing. I also picked some summer savory, and I'm just going to take those leaves off of the stalks. Save those stalks for soups and stews in your freezer. All right, these veggies look good. I'm gonna set them to the side. We're gonna check this bread one more time. A little while longer. Toss it one more time. In the meantime, I'm gonna get my apple ready. I'm gonna actually peel it. You don't have to, but today I want to for just, you know, aesthetic purposes, I guess. Okay, so my bread should be toasted nicely. It's crispy, it's crunchy, it's not completely dried out, but it has a nice toast on it. Now I have about a cup of apple diced up. There we go, just like Granny Smith. I have about a 1/4 cup of the dried Haskap berries from Haskapa. Oh, that's gonna be nice. In fact, you could add a little bit more than that. Let's say a 1/3 of a cup. I have about 2 tablespoons of fresh parsley, and that's about maybe a 1/4 teaspoon of the savory, and that's pretty much dried at this point on my plant. Some freshly ground pepper, maybe a teaspoon at least. Some more salt, a little bit of poultry seasoning, always a little bit of gumbo filet. My mom loves that. That's the taste of stuffing to me. Our tenderized veggies with a little bit of that hot smoked paprika in them. Ooh, that smells great. Now I'm just going to toss that all through with my hands because it's dry. It's cool enough for me to do so. And I want everything to be evenly combined. And I'm going to add a little bit of ham stock. You can use whatever kind of stock you like, but I'm going to drizzle it over the top, a couple tablespoons at a time. And I'm just going to toss that in there with everything too, and a couple more tablespoons. I want it to be just moistened, but not wet. That ham stock has a little bit of fat in it too. It's nice. It's a little bit salty, a little bit savory. So use chicken stock if you like, vegetable stock. You could even use beef stock if you really wanted to. Or you could just use water and add just a little bit more. All in all, that's probably 6 tablespoons maybe. And there's what you have. The Haskap berries mixed in, the apple. It smells really savory, delicious. Okay, so now that's pretty much it. Now you just want to put it in your turkey, or you can roast it in a roasting pan alongside your turkey, maybe with a little bit extra liquid. And you have stuffing. So use whatever bird you like, whatever kind, whether it's a duck or a turkey or a pheasant, whatever, and stuff that bird, and it will be done by the time the turkey is roasted up and lovely, and it will infuse that beautiful turkey goodness all into the meat, to the bread. It's going to be so tasty. You're going to see. Okay, so I have a large roasting pan prepared and ready. When I am getting a turkey prepared to put into a roasting pan, I like to do it on a cookie sheet. That way I can stuff it, and the little bits that fall out aren't burning on the bottom of my roasting pan, which is going to wreck my gravy. But first things first, I need to stuff this turkey. Now before I stuff it, I like to season the inside cavity some. So I'm going to freshly grind some pepper. The basic seasonings I'm using tonight are salt, pepper, poultry seasoning, gumbo filet, and a little bit of hot smoked paprika. That's the same kind of theme I went with throughout the bread stuffing. So we're going to season the inside of this cavity with it. Just lift it up and use one hand for holding the turkey and one hand for the spices. So in goes a little bit of pepper, some salt. I have some hot smoked paprika in a little strainer so that I can just sift it in there because it tends to go in quite clumpy sometimes. Poultry seasoning, gumbo filet. Now we're ready to stuff this turkey. And while the turkey is breast side down, this is the easiest way to stuff it. So let's just get this in here as best we can. Pack it in there nicely. On a large turkey like this, you can actually stuff both sides. There's a little opening on the other side as well. Oh, that's gonna be a good stuffing. Sometimes I use an apple to close the hole up where the stuffing goes, but since this is such a large turkey, I'm gonna use half a grapefruit. If you have a large orange, you may do the exact same thing. So I'm just gonna fit that in there and make sure that it stays. I'm going to use a skewer. So I just stuffed that there, and I'm gonna use a skewer just to hold that in, and it's gonna anchor itself into the stuffing, etc. Okay? Now this turkey actually has some skin I can fit the leg through, and that's what I'm going to do. That's going to keep everything nice and secure. Now the next thing we need to do is get the stuffing out of here. So we're going to flip this bird over. Now I've taken the skin off of this side because it's not particularly awesome to eat. It's not crispy, it's wet. Not that it's not tasty, but no one's really going to eat that. My mom likes the tail, that's her favorite part, so she gets that tail. Now, don't forget we had that skewer in there, so take the skewer out. I'm going to use a spoon because this is kind of hot. Take that grapefruit out. Now, you can actually eat this. It's very tasty. Mom eats it every time, so I'm going to leave that for Mom too. Okay, so I'm going to move this bird as close as I can to the bowl for my stuffing and just use a nice big spoon. It looks awesome. Boy, those Haskap berries look phenomenal in here. So beautiful. What a gorgeous color. They've turned into that beautiful crimson color. Oh boy. What a lovely looking stuffing. Look at this beautiful stuffing. You can see that with the purple berries, the crimson juice that's coming out of them. You can see the flecks of carrots and celery. Oh man, that's gonna be tasty. It looks like it's just moistened enough. Well, the only thing left to do is to taste a little. So I'm just gonna grab a little bit of this. Ooh, look at that. Of course, I'm gonna slather this with gravy on my plate, but look at that, the apple and the carrots and the Haskap and that beautiful moistened bread. Let's try it. Mmm. 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 So much going on there. So good. First of all, the bread is perfectly moistened. Beautiful with the drippings from the gravy. It's nice and savory with the poultry seasoning and the gumbo filet, as well as that fresh parsley. The apple is still a little bit crisp-ish, okay? Beautiful. It's tender, but you can tell that it's apple. It has a nice little bit of bite. Those Haskap berries have a nice tang. They're sweet and tangy, and they're a beautiful color. They look amazing in this dish. The little bits of carrot, gorgeous. A little bit of celery, that just, you know, makes it a little earthy for me. I love that. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous stuffing. I hope that you try it too. That's how you do it. That's how you cook Haskap apple bread stuffing for poultry. Gorgeous. Beautiful for the holidays. And we're using yet another Canadian superfruit, which is awesome. If you have not seen them in your stores, make sure you get online to haskapa.com and get your order in. Beautiful, beautiful products. And these dried berries, excellent. I can't wait to use them in so many more things. So that's it. I hope that you guys have a happy holiday and you try something like this. You know, spice it up a little bit. All right, follow me on Twitter at Cooking with Kim E with a capital E. Like the fan page at facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. My shows are on ifood.tv/cookingwithkimberly, youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly, and you can find me syndicated on Roku. Come to my website at cookingwithkimberly.com and subscribe, interact with us, and let us know what's going down in your culinary world, all right? Be a champion in your kitchen. Eat deliciously. Bye. Yum.